how to write an entire book in 2 hours or less on today's episode.
Today's episode is brought to you by Digit. Save money without thinking about it. Get paid $5 just for signing up at servenomaster.com/digit today.
Are you tired of dealing with your boss? Do you feel underpaid and underappreciated? If you want to make it online, fire your boss and start living your retirement dreams now, then you've come to the right place. Welcome to Serve No Master Podcast, where you'll learn how to open new revenue streams and make money while you sleep. Presented live from a tropical island in the South Pacific by best-selling author Jonathan Green. Now, here's your host.
I'm finally back from my long trip to California. Been away from home for more than 3 weeks, and I've pretty much been around people the whole time. I was hoping to have some alone time to record a bunch of extra podcast episodes, get way ahead, but it didn't happen. So these are some notes that I wrote in my notebook. My notebook's actually completely full. I'm gonna have to get a new notebook as soon as I get back to my house because I've been so busy cranking out new ideas. And as you may have noticed, I recently released my book, Procrastination. I'm about to release a new book called Influence and Persuasion. How can I put out a book a week, and how can you do the exact same thing? I want to take you through this process that allows you to release books even when you have a very, very limited amount of time. I've been experimenting with a couple of cool new things. I just got my first new computer in almost 4 years, and boy, this one is so much faster that I'm able to do some new really, really cool things. So guys, this is the first time I'm recording an episode in this particular hotel room. I'm not all the way back to my house. I'm in the city near where I live, the nearest large city to my small island, and right now, my wife and son are out trying to get the final paperwork for our marriage certificates so that we can begin the process of getting passports and visas for everyone so we can travel as a family the next time I need to leave. So I have a little bit of alone time and I wanted to spend it with you. When we're thinking about writing a book in 2 hours, many people think about, I type so slowly, writing is a big challenge for me. And I cover a lot of this in my new book, 20K a Day, which is coming out very soon. It's in the final editing process with one of my Serve No Master tribe members. I'm hoping to have that ready in the next week or two. I know it's a few months behind. It's been so close for so long, and I can't wait to share that with you. But I don't want to make you wait for everything. So the best way to create really fast isn't to worry about typing. It's to actually use your hands. Now, I've been dabbling more and more with transitioning into dictation. The reason I haven't done a lot of dictation in the past, there's a couple of big reasons for me. The first is that, as you may have noticed, there's pretty much always background noise wherever I go. Even though I live on Paradise Beach and I live in this amazing island, there's always noise. There's always a motorcycle going by or a couple of dogs barking at each other. And even if I'm on the beach and there's no one making noise, the waves get really loud. So there are a lot of challenges. Because where I live is so hot, sitting down at the computer, I always have a fan on. I'm not much of an air conditioning guy. I prefer to use the fan. That way I'm still in the correct weather and I don't have a lot of sickness that comes from an air conditioner. Running an air conditioner all the time tends to give me a cold. I'd much rather have that natural air but with a bit of a breeze behind it. But we can actually dictate an entire book in just 2 hours. I've been dabbling more and more with Drag and Dictate, and now that I have an actual faster computer, it's been very impressive to me. It now can get a lot higher accuracy rate, and I can see what I'm saying as it appears on the screen. So it turns out the limitation was not the software, but my old computer. Live and you learn. I learned something new, and I'm excited about that. But you don't have to do it that way. Right now, I just have my microphone plugged into my iPhone, and I'm walking around this hotel room. The normal human speaks around 125 to 150 words per minute. Right now, I'm speaking a little bit faster, so I'm probably closer to 150. But if I start talking like this, I'm a little closer to 100 or 125 words per minute. When you're writing, the faster you write, the faster the job's done. So talking fast is a benefit. And I know that I'm a natural fast talker, so I sometimes have to resist the urge to talk too fast. If you speak at that 150 words per minute rate, in just 2 hours of continuous talking, if you record yourself talking for 2 hours, that's 18,000 words. That's 1,000 words longer than my procrastination book, which is already shooting up the charts and will be the #1 book in the procrastination and the time management category by next month. It's okay to have a book that length. In fact, as far as profitability, a 20,000 word book at $2.99 is more profitable per word written than a 100,000 word book at $7.99. And that makes sense because at $2.99, That's 5 books to get those same 100,000 words. That means 5 times 3, $15. It's twice as profitable for me to write shorter books and charge less money. That's power of a shorter book. And people actually prefer shorter books in many of these areas. Oftentimes I'm competing books that are 12 or 14,000 words. They're books that people can read in an hour or 45 minutes. 20,000 is kind of my sweet spot because that tends to go in the 90-minute or the 2-hour short read. So you're still in the 2-hour, you're still in the short reads category, but you're not, a 15-minute book, which is too short for me. So let's go through this process. You start by simply recording your book over the course of 2 hours. And now the hardest part is done. That's all you have to do to create your book. If I just recorded several podcast episodes, my average podcast episode is around 20 to 25 minutes. So if I recorded 5 or 6 podcast episodes, I could merge them and they would be a book. I have enough words coming out of my mouth. What you do after you have this raw audio, you have this MP3 file that's 2 hours long, is you blast it over to rev.com. There are a lot of different ways to handle the transcription. This is the easiest way. Rev.com charges $1 per minute to transcribe. I'm not an affiliate for them, but I have used them in the past many times. I've dabbled with cheaper transcriptionists. I've dabbled with using Drag and Dictate to do all the transcription. The problem is it slows down your process. I want you to be able to start and finish this entire book through editing everything in one day. So the 2 hours is for the actual content creation, and then you're done. When you run something through Drag and Dictate, if it does the formatting for you, there are no periods, there's no spaces, there's no any punctuation. So it does generate the words, and it's getting better and better, but you're stuck having to add in all that punctuation, and that can take a really long time. I learned my lesson on 20K a day. I did a really long book. I wrote a book that's almost 100,000 words, and the reason I had to pull in a tribe member to help me was because I ran through Drag and Dictate instead of Rev, and I had to add so much punctuation. It was taking me forever, and it was kind of getting a little bit overwhelming. There are a couple of moves you can make to maximize your value from Rev.com. Now, Rev.com charges you per minute of the recording. So the faster you talk and the shorter your recording, well, the more value you get. So I do recommend talking as fast as you can. What you can do with your audio files, there's a couple of good moves. The first is to record lots of small sections. 20K in a day, I recorded each section is about 10 to 20 minutes long, and then I click and start a new recording. That way, if anything goes wrong, you don't lose the whole file. This allows you to have a little bit more control. The second thing you can do, once you have all those small files, is to open up Audacity, which is a free audio editing program, and you can click under Effects, and there's one that says Truncate Silence. And this is something I cover in the blog blueprint inside the members area, but you click Truncate Silence, and you tell it how long the longest silence is allowed to be. So when I'm recording, sometimes I'll pause for 5, 10, 15 seconds while I'm thinking of an idea. This will automatically delete those silences. And in fact, it changes the way you talk. There's an old episode, like episode 37 or something, where my audio sounds weird, where I'm talking too fast. That's because I truncated the silence a little bit too hard back when I was editing the audio. So it goes, my name is Jonathan, I'm doing blah, 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 blah. It's like that. It's really fast, but that's okay. Because guess what? Every second of silence you cut out is a little more money you save. On average, when I run a Truncate Silence on a 25-minute podcast, I save about 4 minutes. So I save about $4. So over the course of a 2-hour recording, you might save $15 or $20 off the cost. And I want to help you. I want to minimize your costs. So you send this into rev.com and they'll convert it. They'll send it back to you. They do a really good job. They're pretty much about 99% accurate. If you use technical terms, that's where you might run into some problems. But they do good punctuation, good everything, and it's a really good value. There are a couple of other transcription services that are around 75 cents a word, but I haven't played with them yet. Rev is the only one I've used. So I might post some links below this video to some of the other ones I'm trying. I don't have an affiliate relationship with any of them. Unfortunately, I wish they had an affiliate program because I do use Rev, but what can you do? Once you get it back, and Rev is great because they always send it back within 24 hours. So you do your 2 hours, you take a break, come back the next day, your file's ready. You've got your nice 15 to 20,000 word book. And now you just need to kind of clean it up a little bit. The editing process is going to take around 2 to 3 hours tops. So you have a 2-hour book. Now the editing is the same length of time. And this is everything. What I like to do is I take that Word file they send back to me, I move it into Scrivener, and then I focus on cleaning up the structure, making sure that I like how the chapters are organized. When I talk, I'm very freestyle, and so we need to add a little bit of structure to written word. We expect written stuff to look a little differently than the way we expect audio to sound. I make sure that my story is consistent, that there's a flow through it. So at this point, I'm not fixing grammar and stuff like that. I'm making sure that my story's in the right order, that I don't repeat stories, which I have a tendency to do. I have a tendency to write the same stories 3 times because as I'm writing a book, I have the same idea and I forget that I already had it 3 days earlier. That's what's so great about doing a short, quick book. You can then, to handle all of your editing, run the entire book through Grammarly. Grammarly will correct at least 95% of the errors, maybe 99%. I ran procrastination through Grammarly. I didn't use a professional editor this time because I wanted it quick. I wanted to see if I could write, publish, and release a book in 48 hours, which I did. Did it in 36 hours. Grammarly caught everything except for 2 tiny mistakes. One person has so far emailed me in about mistakes they found in procrastination. One was adding the word "and" at one point, and one was about a comma. And the comma I'm not 100% on, but I added the 2 changes. And other than that, there's been no other mistakes people have mentioned to me that Grammarly didn't catch. So it's really, really good. In the same way, if you hire a professional editor, guess what? They're not 100% effective too. Most professional editors say they need to take multiple passes. They need to go through the book multiple times, and it starts to get very, very cost prohibitive. What we want to do here is a book where you can earn back your investment very quickly. So in this case, our only financial investment so far is the $120 for the transcription. And there's other ways to transcribe. If you have Dragon, you could do it that way. It just costs you a little bit more time. It's the time to transcription ratio, however you want to do it. Those are the different ways of doing it. But once that's done, you need to create your front and back matter. And this is very quick as well. The front matter is where you have your title page, so where you have your copyright page, your table of contents. I use Vellum, which is great because it allows me to use my template. So I actually use the same pages for the front and back of all my books. I just go in and change the ISBN number and the title. So once you've done this one, it gets very, very quickly. You can just drag and drop over and over again all those little page templates. And if you're using Vellum, just blast me an email and I'll send you my front and back matter as well so you can see what my templates look like. But all of my books say also written by Jonathan Green. It has the same books, so it's very quick. The about the author page always has the same bio, always has the same social media links. So what's great about that is you only have to do it once and you drag and drop or copy and paste it. I copy and paste from my paperback version as well. So inside Grammarly, I can drag and drop the folders just as easily. I have a little folder that says front matter, a little folder that says back matter, and I drag them into each of my novels, each of my books. Now the process is to then convert your book into Kindle format. Once you've finished doing everything in Scrivener, and I absolutely recommend Scrivener. Scrivener is always on sale. If you're going to buy it, look around for a Scrivener coupon. Sometimes it's $40, but usually you can get it down as low as $20 on sale. Really great value. You convert your book to that Kindle format, and Scrivener does have an ebook export, or you can do like I do and use Vellum. Either way works really, really well. Then the next process that I do recommend investing a little money on is getting your cover made. If you've been looking at the website lately, you've seen that I've been running a contest to choose the perfect cover for Control Your Fate. That's the next long book I'm working on, and that's the next book that I'm going to do a massive, massive launch on that I'm going to try and get really, really big with. It's a longer book. The outline's done, but I need to get 20K in a day and influence and persuasion out and into your hands first. I'm really trying to build up the catalog of books I have on Amazon right now. That's my big push. It's something I teach. It's something I've done with other pen names, and I realize I need to do more demonstration of what I teach. I want to be more consistent. That's one of the reasons I'm pushing out more books. For cover design, I recommend hiring someone on Fiverr. Now, I would tell you who I use, but every time I list the person I use, their price ends up going up a month later because so many people follow me. I end up having to find a new designer. So for the last contest, you can look at the Control Your Fate contest. It had 6, 7, or 8 covers. Actually, it kind of went hog wild. I think I spent almost $100 because I wanted to have like a fun contest to get a bunch of ideas. And I did 2 rounds of testing, but I didn't choose a final cover yet. I have to sit down and do that today. I was so busy traveling. But you can hire someone who's just $5. I recommend spending just $5. Actually, the winner of my contest tends to be the $5 covers. When I pay $10 or $15, those designs almost never win. Pick a good, simple design. What I like to do is find a stock photo. You can find a stock photo at depositphotos.com. I sent out a coupon a couple of weeks ago. They had a big sale. Normally they charge like $500 for 100 photos, but they were $30 or $40 for 100 photos last week on a promo. I think it's finished, but that was why I sent out the email, so that anytime you need to make a cover, you have access to really good images. What's great is that a lot of the Fiverr people will actually include an image from Deposit Photos for free. So that's a pretty good value. Otherwise, you can find a cool stock image somewhere. Find something really simple that fits your idea. That's all I do. All my covers come from a stock image. Now, I do alter the graphic and change the colors and go through that process myself and then send it to the designer, but that's up to you. That's a little extra time. But all of the cover cost is $5. You get a great cover done, and now your book is ready to upload to Kindle. We have the internal file, you have the cover, and you're ready to go. It's a very simple process, and by now you could be at the end of day 1 or the beginning of day 2 without working continuously. If you have a very busy schedule, maybe the first day you spend 2 hours recording, you send your book out, you send your audio file, it comes back the next day, you spend 2 hours editing, and the next day you have everything ready. So it's day 3 at the most to release a book this quickly. I then recommend you write a really great book description. Now, I do have a brand new tool that I've been slowly showing to other professional authors, and it's been blowing the doors off. It's my new Kindle description generator. It's at my website, kindlesniper.com, and it's at kindlesniper.com/Kindle-HTML-description-generator, I believe. It's kind of a long name, so I recommend you click the link in the bottom of this video and let me know what you think. I'm really excited about this tool because it's perfect. I use it for my own books. The perfect test case is that I ran it for my own book. I changed my own book to this using this tool about 6 weeks ago. So if you look at Serve No Master, the description's a little bit different now than if you bought it 6 months ago. And since changing the description, a couple of amazing things happened. I ran a promotion, bought a little bit of traffic, and the book exploded and got one of the top books on Amazon, which means Amazon liked it so much they called me and they ran a big promo. And I had the biggest day of my entire career on Amazon because they liked the book so much they promoted it. They did a push notification to everyone who uses an iOS device. So that was a huge, huge day for me. Then on Monday of just this week, with that new description, my new better description, using the exact same tactics I've been using, my book shot up to number 2 on all of Amazon. Not number 2 in a category, the second best book on all of Amazon. And if you're on my email list, you saw the email where I was at number 6 and said I wanted to beat Harry Potter. And I did. For 3 hours on Monday, thanks to the help of my audience, thanks to the help of people like you, my book pushed past Harry Potter. And that's when I was flying back to Asia. I was a little bit worried that my plane wasn't going to make it because you don't always want to poke the beast. And let's be honest, that's the biggest author in the world. I was so excited. And a big part of that is using my new description tool, which is absolutely 100% free. It's a tool that's just there to provide a really valuable resource to every single person who is out there trying to make it as an author. And I'm very, very, very excited about that. Once you have your description done, you go in, you just go to kdp.amazon.com and you upload your book. You upload all your files, you copy and paste your description. My tool gives you the HTML, so all you do is copy and paste and it looks absolutely beautiful. So it ensures that your book sells really, really well. You answer all the questions. What's the author name? What's the publication date? Just real simple stuff. It takes about 2 or 3 minutes. I have a bunch of screenshots that I've shared in the past doing it, so I know you know how to do it. And boom, your book is up in 1 to 3 days. So you wrote a book in 2 hours and you published it in 2 or 3 days at the most. Now, I've proven in the past that I can do this myself. I did this with procrastination. I decided to write it Friday morning, and by Saturday night, it was live on Amazon. It's that quick. I want to really shorten the cycle for how long it takes you to write a book for a very critical reason. The shorter the distance between you and a goal, the more likely you are to achieve it. If writing a book takes 9 months, you have to think about it so far to plan out. And even if you're working on a really long book, and I'm working on 2 long books right now, 20K a day is already around 94,000 words that I've already written. Okay, it's already in the editing process. That's a huge book. While I'm working on that, I decided to start a series of shorter books for the reason that I wanted to prove this works and that it can be profitable. It's already my 3rd best-selling book in all of my Amazon accounts. It's the 3rd most profitable book this month, Procrastination. So you can have a small book that's very, very profitable. And in fact, it's only been 99 cents for the past 2 weeks as I've been sending it out to people to generate a lot of reviews. There's a lot of value in this process because you can see that you can quickly create a book. It doesn't have to be you sitting in front of a computer and grinding. Just 2 hours of your time, the length of a decent movie, shorter than many bad movies. And you have yourself a nice little book and you can start to taste the earnings. Now, I do know that this process is around $125 because we're using rev.com. So I'll post you some other links. You can use some alternative sources and you can probably get your book transcribed for around $70 to $80. You could run it through Drag and Dictate and have to edit yourself, in which case the editing process instead of 2 to 3 hours will probably be 4 to 6 hours. It really doubles the editing process. If you're going to go the Drag and Dictate route, I would much rather you read the book directly into Scrivener and have Drag and Convert it. I've been testing that. And actually, if you have a newer computer, it works really, really well. My computer was 3 or 4 years old because I only buy a computer whenever I go to America. I haven't been for a while because my son was born last time this conference was happening, so I didn't travel. You can dictate a book very, very quickly using either of these 2 techniques, depending upon your time to cost ratio. You'll make back your money in the first month. I'll tell you that right now. When I run a promotion, making $125 a month, it's not that hard. You can follow my system. You can use my other promotion tools. It doesn't cost that much money, and it's a really great place to be. So I recommend that. Either way you go about it, this is how you can write a book really, really, really quickly. In either case, you can start Monday, have your book there by Friday at the absolute latest if you follow this very, very simple. And this is how you can write a successful, amazing, profitable book in just 2 hours.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Serve No Master. Make sure you subscribe so you never miss another episode. We'll be back tomorrow with more tips and tactics on how to escape that rat race. Head over to servenomaster.com/podcasts now for your chance to win a free copy of Jonathan's bestseller, Serve No Master. All you have to do is leave a 5-star review of this podcast. See you tomorrow.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Serve No Master podcast. Join me on my Facebook page at facebook.com/Serve No Master.